Step into this.
Yeah, dude, let's just do it. Let me just kind of get my stuff, because I will get sidetracked.
It's all good. I got my sponsored to you in part by medicine with the leaf on the can.
There you go. That's nice.
So that's how we're coming out the blocks. That's how we're starting.
Oh, is that your Chugg? Is that the Chugg reference?
It's between that or a lot of this.
Yeah, I do definitely drink a lot more water now than I used to. I've been trying to cut back on like sodas and shit.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know, maybe I'm just getting older. Maybe I'm just more aware of how things I eat affect my body right away. But I think it's a combination of the two. Just weeding out the bullshit. Huh?
I said right away. You right about that. Like I can eat something, and before the meal is complete, I can feel it in my stomach. I gotta go to the bathroom and take a shit.
Man. That's your body letting you know that hey, something's not right. But but we kind of get in the habit of just being like, oh, that always happens to me. That's just it. You know what I mean? But if we really actually like factor that in and kind of like start eliminating some of those things, like, all right, I'm gonna stay away from that now. It'd be amazing, like how much, better quality sleep and mood and everything will help you. But anyways,
I'll definitely be paying attention to what my body tells me.
Yeah, man, it's a finely tuned machine, man, or a finely tuned organism. I don't want to say machine because that kind of means that we're modular and we're not. So
yeah, I think I'm gonna just go with a brown paper bag and not letting nobody know what's in there.
Okay.
That's fair.
Alright, so I'm gonna start it out with like an intro, and then I'll just cut it from this part, and then we'll go on from here.
Bet that.
Should have wrote the damn intro. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Crash and Chugg episode 1 podcast. I've got Chuggy here, or Chugg. We got CrashFitty here, aka Simon. We're starting this podcast out with something we've been wanting to do for a while, and we're finally not making any more excuses, and we're just making it happen. So we got this kind of makeshift background. I got my bike back there. Chugg is up.
I got my things to chug on over here.
Yeah, he's got his things to chug on over there. And we're probably just going to jump right into it. I know some of you guys are probably listening to this and either self-quarantined or just kind of just chilling at the house watching Netflix and chilling or whatever they call it nowadays. But having a beer, whatever you're doing. But hopefully this podcast is a different way to kind of bring you entertainment, keep you guys entertained in the mountain biking world, or just overall conversation in general. We just hope to bring some entertainment, make you guys laugh at ourselves, or just bring just a different point of view from a new perspective, as kind of what the description says. I've been in mountain biking for 2 years. Chugg is just starting to ride again. What kind of bike do you have over there, Chugg?
Right now I have a hybrid. It's a street bike. It looks like a mountain bike, but it's more like a 18 speed. It's perfect for trails and paved roads more so than mountain biking, more extreme activities of that sort. Yeah.
So,
but you should put your face in the camera so everybody can see what your pie eater looks like.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm looking at my damn notes. This is all part of it, man. You're going to be learning along with us, this podcast. This is our first podcast we've ever been hosting, so we're going to be learning along with you guys, or you guys are going to be learning along with us. So either way, it's going to work out. I wish I can just kind of
that means our background could change. That means our costumes could change sometime. I thought I was going to wear my glasses, but I could barely read with them. So, yeah. Like he said, I go by Chugg. I'm a newly mountain biker hopeful. and he's gonna put me through the ropes. Crash is gonna do everything to set me on the right way, so I won't crash. He's gonna crash, so we don't have to.
Well, the one thing about mountain biking, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's kind of like like when you try to buy a motorcycle, they tell you like, you're gonna put it down eventually. It's just a matter of when. But especially if you're trying to progress and stuff. But we're gonna do our best we can to be safe. Definitely want to wear a helmet. I got my full face back here in my half shell, one of my half shells. Try to do a little background. I got my hardtail, my first bike that I bought here. But we're just gonna. So, what's my individual backstory as far as like how I got mountain biking was the first time I went mountain bike. Well, let me go back a little bit further. Damn. Go ahead,
Your first bike. What would you say your first bike and how much you just enjoy being out there, part of like a crew? That's personally, why I enjoy mountain biking. Not mountain biking specifically, but just biking and cycling, because it's another form of exploring, and I've always explored different things, and my cycling is cool, so I want to check this mountain biking out. You tapped in on it, so
yeah, man, and that's kind of where I brought it to you. So a quick little backstory. I'm prior military, did 20 years, got out, and then Chugg and I, we served some time back together, and we just kind of been in contact since then. And the way this came about was I don't know, what did I call you sometime, or you called me? I forgot how it happened.
Social media, we stayed in contact through Facebook, instant messages here and there, maybe a video chat, and then we just got to talking and figured we might be on to something, and we we're both veterans, like you spoke about, and we have a little bit more of a different thought process than most, and for you to attacking in mountain biking, just make it the best possible outlet that a person can have.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I love about mountain biking, and why I try to bring it to so many people, and it's not even just mountain biking, it's just kind of getting out into nature, if you will, not to get too hippie-ish on it, but that's essentially what it is. I mean, we get kind of caught up in social media, and just kind of with our heads down, and we lose the basic skills of communication with each other, and the idea of community, because that kind of goes away. Yeah, it's community and social media, but it's not the same as like riding, actually putting physical activity to yourself, whether it be hiking, walking, biking in the woods, and you're sharing that similar experience by riding together and just bullshitting pretty much. It's just like being with your friends out in the woods, just trying to do stupid shit, kind of like when you were a kid. And that's pretty much, it's kind of like the common glue that holds us all together. Yeah, it connects. Yeah, exactly. You said it yesterday, last night, when we were talking about doing this podcast. It's a different way to connect with people, and it's a positive way to connect with people, It's just kind of a break away from the norm, because this wasn't part of my upbringing. Like, I wasn't taken to walks in the woods and shit, or even the only time I got any type of taste of nature was going out to the lake, but it was just to get in the water and get out, really, and eat some dogs or hamburgers or whatever. But you know what I mean?
What flavor was the dog?
Yeah. Well, what flavor was the dog? It was a canine of sorts.
Okay. That means it had a lot of protein in it, I guess.
Yeah, it had a lot of protein, a little bit of kibble. It was we had to burn the hair off.
Yeah, it happens. You put it on a longer stick, maybe.
Yeah. All right.
3x2.
For those of you that are dog lovers, it's just a joke. We're not burning dogs over here, so take it easy. We're gonna be joking a lot on this podcast. What's up?
I said, what's your dog's name? We got to bring it on here.
Oh yeah, my dog's name is Lotus. She is a mixed breed. We rescued her like 7 months ago now at some shelter. And since I retired, like, I used to have a dog. It was his name was Brewski, and he was a boxer that I got from my best friend. But he died in Germany, and that's kind of a long story. But fast forward, my wife was like, "Hey, you can't get another dog until you retire," because I was on the road so much. and she was always the one taking care of him. And then we got sick, and then whenever I leave, he would get sad. So then she would get more sad, and then he would go to the door like at 4 o'clock or whatever time I was supposed to come home from work, 6, whatever. And he'd be waiting every day thinking I was gonna come back, but I was either on a deployment, TDY, or whatever. So she was like, you can't get another dog until you retire. So we weren't even planning to get the dog that day. We went to the shelter. We went to one shelter, we saw some pups, and I grabbed one, and I was like, it doesn't really feel right, you know? Because I feel like there has to be some type of connection, you know, like you just, there's something inside you kind of like tells you like, you know, this is the one, you know? And
I feel that same way about dogs that are gonna bite me. Like I can look at them and kind of feel like this one ain't gonna bite me, but that one might bite me.
Well, maybe by you thinking that, they bite you because they can feel your energy. No?
I know. I'll just stay calm, but I mean, I could look in the distance.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then,
you could. Yeah, I could see that because dogs, they give you a certain look. You know, they're aggressive or not aggressive.
Yeah, but, and then in the times that we're living in right now, shouts out to coronavirus locking everybody in the house. Yeah. You know, my part-time job is sponsored to you in part by everybody ordering stuff. Thank you for keeping me at the job. You know what that means.
The shout out. And us mountain bikers, we love Amazon because when we see that box on the front door, that means it's a new part. Our spouses and wives or girlfriends or whatever probably don't like it. But yeah, when we see that box, we get all giddy inside. It's like Christmas, you know, upgrading our bike to a new part. I can't tell how many times my wife would be like, you ordered something else? I'm like, no. She's like, but yeah, it was actually, new set of brakes or whatever. But I kind of went crazy with it. But it's like a good thing. I don't know, everything I saw that I was buying within mountain biking, because a lot of people that will initially get into it will see how expensive it could be. Mm-hmm. But if you think about it from the aspect of an investment, like if you're actually going to be using it, you're actually going to be riding, you're actually going to be, because I ride like just about every day, and it's, so I kind of see it as an investment. I really don't do a lot of the stupid shit I used to do. I just do stupid shit in a different environment, in the form of riding. But yeah, for that, that's how I see it. And I kind of jumped full feet in, both feet in. I bought myself this bike, and then I bought my kids' bikes. They're like pretty nice GT hardtails that I got at Dick's Sporting Goods. I bought another bike from a friend, which is Diamondback, which I'll probably have that up next time. But a Diamondback full suspension release, and I've kind of gone crazy with that. And so I got technically 5 bikes in there. 2 of them are mine. And yeah, I mean, and a bike rack and everything. So I spent quite a bit of money into it. However, you don't need to do all that. You can just buy one bike and then just maintain that. Usually a hardtail is a lot better because it's minimal maintenance. But if you got a full suspension, you got to worry about the pivots in the rear. You got to worry about the rear shock.
Some of us that don't know, what is the hardtail? Like, what is this? You know, I don't even know. You said hardtail.
I'm glad.
I don't know what that means.
So a hardtail is exactly what it sounds like. So, look, I got it right here. So you have a front shock, right, on a hardtail, but you don't have a rear one. So if you can see here, which I don't know if you can see that, but usually there would be a shock back here somewhere. In this rear triangle, not rear triangle, but the back part of the frame, there would be a shock there. And then there would be pivots along for the rear triangle to move up and down to allow movement to absorb the impact. But this one does not. So that would be considered a hardtail. You got a front fork and no rear shock.
So the bike I probably was telling you about, which is a mongoose, that's a hardtail then.
More than likely it's a hardtail.
Oh, okay. See, I'm learning, and that's the whole point of this.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And like later on, we're gonna have guests on and stuff, and I'm telling not only you but also the people watching this. I've already talked to people. I'm gonna get experts better than ourselves on here, and we're gonna ask the questions that Noobs would ask, and we're gonna bring people from all walks of life, and then try to interview them and try to get different perspectives from all around. But for the start of this one, we kind of went to our individual backstories, where we met, and the purpose of this channel. We had talked about this is just a disclaimer. Again, we are not experts in mountain biking, and we don't claim to be. We're just one enthusiast to
another life enthusiast. Because I feel like this is just a
what?
Another avenue to maximize life, and that, I feel like that's what it's all about.
Yeah, man, because it's all about trying different things and finding out what works for you, and then using all those things that you like and then applying them in your life, so you're not just kind of just one-sided or unbalanced. You can use all these things. And so the purpose of this channel is just to inform, entertain, educate you all from a noob's point of view. And
noobs is being like new people.
Yeah, being new people. Like I said, like 2+ years into it, you are like brand spanking new to it. You probably got fresh skin, no scratches or anything yet. Looking all pristine over there. That's probably a little too much. Yeah, I'm saying yeah, a lot. But I was trying to look at the notes here. And so how did you, when you were a kid, what type of biking did you do? I know you had talked about like some of the stuff that you did as a kid, riding around with your friends, but I kind of like let you kind of take away with that.
So I always enjoy, just being outside. First off, whether it be playing sports or playing in the water and making holes in the mud in the yard, down to bicycling. And so in my neighborhood, it was a lot of kids, of course, and we all had bikes, fortunately. And, growing up, that was the way to hang out, ride bikes. And we, fortunately, somehow had a trail in our neighborhood. It was like at the end of this dead-end road. We had like jumps and all that stuff. I had a BMX at the time. This was probably like 1986.
Oh, dude, that was like the heart of BMX, like 80s, 86. I think that movie Rad came out around then. Which
it was pretty cool. That just motivated me to want to keep riding bikes. I ended up, by the time I was 12, man, I had like 3 different bicycles.
Were they all BMX bikes?
Nah, like one was a BMX, one was a 10-speed. I think it wasn't a Schwinn, it was a Walmart brand.
Yeah.
And then I had it was a hybrid. It looked like a dirt bike with the discs around the wheels, and it was like a 6-speed.
Oh, nice.
It was dope. Somebody stole that one when I moved to the neighborhood. They didn't like that, but whatever. But ever since then, I've always liked riding bikes. And then fast forward, and as an adult, another form of exploring in the cities is riding your bike, because they have bike trails that go along with subways. And by me living right outside of Washington, D.C., I just took advantage of it. And that's where I currently got my bike, is a hybrid. Which
and what kind of bike is it?
It's a Giant. Shouts out to Giant for not letting me fall too many times.
Hey, Giant's a good brand, man. Giant's a really good brand. They put out some really good bikes. It's one of the known manufacturers for bikes. But so how much riding have you done lately with this bike?
Lately here in Kansas City, I'm finding new trails. So I say I probably go maybe 2 to 3 times a week, and just because they have trails going along the Missouri River here. So I stay in the Midwest, and the Kansas River, and then as most people don't think, there are hills and stuff here in the Midwest, and there are a lot of off-road trails, not mountain biking trails.
Right.
Because I don't have a mountain bike yet. I think plan on building one, hopefully.
Yeah, man. I look forward to doing it with you.
It's a lot of opportunities right here where I live at in Wyandotte County.
And honestly, like we talked about last night, when I talked about Kansas City, or just Kansas in general, I didn't like the way you thought of Texas is the way I thought of Kansas. I just thought it was flat as shit. I remember a comedian talking about referencing Kansas in the sense that Kansas is the only place that birds just fucking fall out of the sky because there's no damn trees to land on. But in the same sense, but you guys are Super Bowl champions now, so that's good. That's fairly recent. There you go.
You see it? You see it?
I see it.
Yeah,
And
I knew it was gonna come up.
Yeah, I've been out of the NFL game for a bit now. As you remember, I still have that sweater you guys got me, but I don't watch the Cowboys as much as I used to. Not because of their losing, but it just kind of like things shifted for me, and that kind of my new niche is mountain biking now, as well as just kind of informing others of good information and kind of allow themselves to kind of grow internally within themselves. But I need to get back into it. I know, just to kind of go a little bit NFL talk here. That's a hell of a segue right there. You just kind of, that was like perfect timing. No, NFL talk. I heard that the Cowboys, well, one, Brady's going with Tampa. I just heard that. And then I heard that Phillip Rivers is no longer with the Chargers, which I kind of expected that. And then now the Cowboys don't want to re-sign Dak Prescott. They're just signing him to, like, they're trying to do the franchise tag. So that's pretty crazy. And then you line that with everything with this Corona shit, and it's kind of like, seemingly end of days. But hopefully this shit blows over like in 15 days or so, and we get reacclimated. But
see how this new chapter in life is going to turn out for us. It's definitely got you on the seat of your seat, looking to anticipate something different.
Yeah, dude, and
this shit's for the bird.
Yeah, I agree, man, and I'm hoping that this kind of provides a new perspective for the majority of people in the United States. That most of us are very privileged, to be in this country, and just in comparison to other countries and places that we've seen overseas, I'm hoping this kind of like shakes people a little bit and kind of they reprioritize how they view, pop culture or what have you, and they actually start, thinking more about themselves and how to take care of themselves from all aspects, to include in ways of mountain biking, which we're bringing it back to. But yeah. So you kind of talked about your brief history, but with me, the way I got into riding was my first bike was I was telling you about this last night. Was a 3-wheel, big wheel. I don't know why I'm big wheel, but it had like a little e-brake on the side and it had ET on the front. It was red and white. What's up?
You should see if you can put a picture of it up on there. Can you get on the?
Yeah, I try to do. Am I still screen sharing here?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, I don't know if that's gonna affect. Well, let me look it up. So in the meantime, can you give us a little bit more background about what else your friends did? You were telling me about a clubhouse back there.
Yeah. So we had a clubhouse. We had like all individual trails. Well, we just used to ride. We didn't ride far. We probably had maybe about 14 to 15 blocks within this neighborhood.
Dang.
So one way in, one way out. So it was, it was safe. We didn't have to worry about traffic. We could ride out. That's a tricycle. That's a big wheel.
Yeah, that's what I said. That was my first bike. The power cycle. Okay. And you see right here, this is the e-brake handle right here. So I'd be hauling ass around the neighborhood just like doing freaking 180s or 90s or whatever it was. I think last night I tried to expand it a little bit. I said 360s, but might have been pushing it.
Yeah, they have adult ones like that now. You know that?
Really?
Yeah, people will race them for real.
Oh, big wheels. I'm gonna look that up too while we're on here.
Yeah.
See what you're talking about.
Yeah, man. But I mean, I just
like. Oh yeah. Holy sh! Is this real?
Yeah.
Dude, that looks fake, dude.
No, that's real, man.
Oh man, I should buy one of those.
It's a real
look
thing.
At this. I didn't even know this was a thing, dude.
Yeah, just like how mountain biking is a thing. That's a thing for someone else.
I'm gonna get one of those. I'm gonna try to find one. Maybe if I could find an ET one, dude, that would be sweet, dude. But anywho, I'm getting sidetracked. So let me stop the screen sharing real quick until we can get back to it. So I want to make sure that we see both of us. I don't know if this is stop sharing. Okay. So that was my first bike, and then my next bike, I ended up getting like a Huffy or something. At the time, I used to watch, the BMX or whatever on TV or like any movies, and I used to see that they had red lines, and then I think red line was a big one, mongoose was a big one, and I'm missing some. I'm pretty sure anybody else that was watching this could probably comment on it. But I couldn't afford those, so I had a Huffy, and then I would just across the street from where I lived here in San Antonio. It was a bad neighborhood, so people would just throw like shit on in this like empty lot right across the street. Like they would be doing construction on their house or just whatever. It was just like trash, and we would get that. Those piece of boards or cardboard, whatever it was, not cardboard, but
You
those
guys make
boards.
sweet jumps?
Yeah, we'd make some sweet jumps like a Napoleon, And it was exactly like that, dude. Like where the jumps are so damn sketchy, like you'd hit it and the ramp would fucking fall apart and you'd almost eat it and shit. And people were laughing at you. But that's kind of what I did, and then I didn't ride again. That was my last bike I had was probably when I was like 12 maybe. And then I got into football, baseball, and all that shit. And fast forward to 2011, 10 around there. Maybe it was 2011. When we were stationed in Germany, I had some friends that rode mountain bikes, and they invited me out. And I was like, hell yeah, I'll try it, But every time we went out, I borrowed a friend's bike. He had I don't even remember what kind of bike. I think it was a GT. But it was a hardtail. The frame was too small for me, for my size, and I didn't know at the time. And I don't recall them showing me how to use the gears. Maybe they did, and I just don't remember because I have a shitty memory. But I was riding on these big ass hills in Germany. I wouldn't want to say mountains, but they're big ass hills. And I'm just trying to keep up with these guys the whole time, and I'm hungover most of the time. And waking up, but it was so cool. I remember crashing a lot. I was crashing a lot then. One time I was riding and I was trying to stay behind them as fast as I could and was going downhill. And there was a part where I could go right or left, and I had to make it. And I was probably going like 14 miles an hour or something. I don't know. But when you have to make that split decision, I just went left, and it was a fucking flight of stairs, and I just like fucking went over the bars. And these guys are like gone, and I'm just like and I get up and I just keep pressing, right? And then maybe like another 30 feet or something, I ran into a fucking stump, like a big ass tree stump. Like I just went sideways, and I just like went this way, and that fucking shoulder went right, boom. That obviously that tree didn't move.
So is it best to always, like when you're beginning to ride, would you recommend to try to stay with the pack or just stay on the trail?
I recommend trying to stay on the trail because you can always find the people, especially with cell phones nowadays. I don't think we had cell phones. We did have cell phones, but I don't think I carried it on me. Like nowadays, everyone has their cell phone on them for any type of emergency or whatever. Especially when it comes to mountain biking, you want to have some type of communication to get out to the outside world in case you get stuck somewhere. I need to look into, because I was wondering, like if I were to crash and I can't really get up, is there a way that I can, like
you can get a chip put behind your ear. If you want, you can go to the VA and they can put a tracker chip like right here in your ear.
I'm good. I don't. They're already tracking me all kinds of ways. I don't want to fucking. Ted. What was his name? The guy from Tesla. What's his name?
The rich dude. I don't remember his.
Elon Musk. I was listening to a podcast on Joe Rogan. And he's talking about like the next thing he wants to do other than go to Mars. He wants to integrate, pretty much put an implant in your head where you can access the internet through your mind, essentially. I forget what they call it. It's some type of next step evolution or whatever.
Like that.
Yeah, and it's very sci-fi-ish, but this guy's so smart and so crazy. But his first application he wants to do it for is people with disabilities where they don't have the ability to access, use their arms or legs or whatever, and they can access the information and get things done for them in that sense. So that, I can see the application for that. But going back to writing, I was wondering if there's some type of way that you can just kind of like share your location with the fire department or whoever is going to come out and rescue you, and they can just find you GPS wise, as opposed to, hey, I'm at trail marker 15, because you don't know, you're riding through the woods, you don't know where you're at, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be I don't know, that could be something you could create to where it could be like for all the trails and stuff that you start to ride, it could be an app that you notify them at the beginning of your ride, and then you notify them, okay, I'm home, and you notify them at the end of your ride, and like you get alerts if you forget to remind them or something.
Right. I know like Apple and I think Samsung has something like that, where if you have any type of impact, it accounts for the G's on your phone or something, and if it goes above a certain G's, like G's in to meaning like, pretty sure it's like gravity. To measure gravity. Yeah, measure the impact. It will automatically send an alert to your family members that you have on the list, and then they'll know like that happened. I heard that happened to somebody where he crashed, but he was able to keep riding. But they notified his family, and his family started calling him because they knew you went out for a ride, and then they're like, "Hey, are you okay?" So there are things like that, but I don't know if it's linked in with like first responders where they can actually know your exact location.
Getting there.
Yeah, especially down here in Texas, if you get bit by a snake, you probably don't want to ride anywhere, huh?
You didn't explain that you have a lot of snakes down there.
Oh yeah, so Texas is, well, really all of south part of the United States is home to rattlesnakes, cottonmouths, king coral snakes, all types of venomous, creatures or whatever. And that's, especially when it's getting warmer outside, those are even more, you're more likely to run into them. One time I was riding with my son, and he was right ahead of me, and I saw his back tire run over the snake, and I don't know how I knew this, but in my mind, my instinct told me the snake's gonna not have enough time to react to him, but he'll have enough time to react to you, the second rider. You know what I mean? Because he's gonna get run over, he's gonna turn around, and by the time my son's gone, I'm coming up next. So all I did was I picked up my damn feet, and I just went over it. I was like, But luckily I got by. But maybe we could look into that. Maybe somebody looking at the podcast will be like, hey, did you know about this app? And that's what this is all really about. It's about sharing the information. We'll talk about it, and then we can find out from some of our listeners, like, hey, did you know about this app? Or hey, I create apps, or I'm a web designer or whatever, we could create that. And that's what it's all about. It's like evolving the sport in a way through information.
Absolutely.
Or not even the sport. Go ahead.
I said, then it can mature to, asking Elon Musk to build us a mountain bike.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Elon Musk and electric cars, there are something called e-bikes, which a lot of people are starting to go to, and it's a pedal assist bike. And if you think about it, it's got a battery on it, and you can adjust the level so there's all types of different levels of bikes, but e-bike is another one, and a lot of people, especially young people, are starting to get more out of their rides with them. So you can set it to like the lowest, like the hardest setting, so what it does is as you pedal, it feels like something's helping you, like pedals. And
it's like motorized. I've ridden a couple of those before. Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about. So that's another thing. And then people with any type of disabilities or handicaps or anything like that, or older people that, they're up in age, their bones don't really work the way they used to. It's kind of like as we get older, like our shit doesn't work as well as it used to. But those are different ways to get people outdoors, and I'm all for them. Some people are kind of up against it because they feel it's gonna mess up the trails and stuff like that. But as long as it's getting people outside and not doing anything stupid or dangerous to other people, harm anybody else, I don't see what the difference is. And as long as they're not like making them go like 40 miles an hour or something like unsafe. Because you can go that fast, but you can't stop.
the bikes that you can rent in Madrid, they're self-propelled. Like they're electric and they're self-propelled. And you can just rent them like you rent a subway, like you get a subway pass. That's how you rent those bikes over there.
Oh, dude, that's badass. Dude, I want to go back. I want to go back to Spain, dude. And if I'm sure you still have contacts over there, we could take like a hop over there or something. That would be sweet, or fly over there, or whatever, and take our bikes and just check that shit out. That would be awesome, dude.
That'd be nice to ride down in southern Spain.
Yeah.
Northern Spain will be all city riding, like Madrid and stuff. But yeah.
When I was stationed in Germany, we had to drive from Germany down to southern Spain to support some stuff. And I remember driving through all the what are the name of those mountains? Castellana Mountains, yeah, by Figueroa. It's where Salvador Dali's from. So it's like right at the start. He's a famous artist from Spain. I think he died like in the 60s or 70s or something. Anyways, but those are future things I want to talk about, because I want to try to go riding everywhere in the world, and those are some other things that we can talk about later on the podcast, like different like where I kind of want to
different milestones that we can reach.
Different milestones. That's not Corona. That's some pancakes I had earlier, and a little dry back there. Maybe some pancakes. And
man, I was at Walmart yesterday, and I felt a little tickle. I was like, don't let me be that guy. Don't let me be that guy to cough in front of everybody.
I know. I was at a UPS store because I had to ship a keyboard back, because I got a wireless keyboard for my video editing, and that bitch wasn't going like. It was like, why did you even make it wireless? Like, it has to be like right next to this little adapter. I don't know if I got one here. So this is like the adapter that plugs into the USB, and it's like the antenna for it.
Yeah.
And it had it. I was trying to sit on the couch and do my thing, but that's loaded. But I couldn't, man. It wasn't working. So I had to send that bitch back. Anyways, I was at UPS, and I was standing there for a long time, and I was getting so frustrated because the person at the front knew there was a line, and they kept asking questions. Like, so when is it gonna get there? And it was just like, oh, it's gonna be there tomorrow. Okay. So when is it gonna get there? I'm like, dude, she just told you tomorrow. Like, I don't know what else you want. And I was trying not to get like too frazzled, or like, but I just knew I was in close proximity with other people, you know, and I just needed to just give them the box, they scan it, and get my receipt and leave. But this dude had like fucking 30 questions, but whatever. Oh, and then I needed to cough, because I had just got done with a ride, and sometimes when I ride, my allergies kick up a little bit because of all the stuff that's flying around, and I didn't want to cough. Now I'm coughing now. So I didn't want to cough for that reason, you know. But I kind of was like, maybe I should cough. Maybe everybody would leave, and then I could just drop my box off, and then I can head out. But
they probably would have asked you to leave. They would be like, excuse me, sir. No, can you leave?
Yeah, get your coughing ass out of here.
Yeah. You know? Is everything shut down there? All the bars, restaurants, mass gathering places?
As far as I know, like, so
the gym.
Gyms are closed, I know that, and then if they're not all closed, they're gonna be. I heard from somebody, one of the guys I ride with, he was saying that Ghost Gym put a notice on their door that they're gonna close March 31st, which I'm kind of like, I understand you're trying to give people a heads up, but in this type of situation, you kind of want to cut it off, you know. You don't want to, because a gym, a gym is one of the worst places, because everyone's breathing hard, you know. And they're working out and they're breathing hard, and it's recycled air because of the AC. So it's just constantly in that funk,
you know. Recirculated all throughout there. Just yeah.
I can understand places like that, restaurants as well. But yeah, a lot of the stuff is, and you can kind of see like where it's going. And I'm hoping it doesn't have to go as far as where it may go. But I understand the reasoning for it. Some people are getting upset, and some people think it's a conspiracy theory and stuff, but when it's affecting like the world like this, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, and then I would probably be on board with the conspiracy theory if the market had something to gain from it, but they've lost a shit ton of money. You know, and I shouldn't be laughing because I got money. I got money in there too. You know what I mean? I haven't even looked at it because I know what the market is. You know, it always goes down and then it comes back up because it's all based off the share prices of your individual thing. You know what I mean? But I don't want to get into market talk. Let's get back into.
Not yet. So not the first episode, but you are dropping jewels of your knowledge that you have. So
yeah.
Very nice.
So yeah. So I go into a little bit of my background, my history of riding. I talked about my Huffy experience in riding. So I talked about Germany, biking, so this is my first proper mountain bike. This is a Norco Fluid 2 Plus. All that means is the tires. I believe the tires were like wider. It's called like a plus tire. And that means that the wheels are the inner is a bit wider, so you're able to put fatter tires on there. Because if you have a inner wheel that's too thin, the fatter tires you put, then if you think about it, let's say this is the top of the tire, and then you put like the inner. I'm trying to give you some. Maybe I could pull up a fucking picture because this is like doing nothing. I'm not throwing gang signs here. I'm trying to show you the inner width. So anyways, it just means that the inner width is wider, so you get able to support bigger tires. Because if you have the inner width is too small, then you think about like a fat tire, and it's gonna like balloon in like that, and then it could pop off the seal, like of the inner width, the bead of the inner tire that holds onto the rim. If that's too thin, it doesn't have enough
girth
to support it. So that's kind of when I bought this bike. That was like the trend of fatter tires coming into play. There's something called a fat tire bike, but for the purposes of this, it's a plus tire bike. So it's like 2.0 and all the way up to 2.8. I think this had 2.8s on there, which was a pretty fat tire. Actually, those tires are on my wife's bike now. I had the Max's Minions on there. But that, which is really good for beginner riders because it gives you more of a base. So when you're riding, it's more stable when you're riding, and you can let out the air, and so it's a little bit more cushioning of a ride, and you can factor that in for like suspension. Like if it's too rough of a ride, you can let out some of the air, but not too much air, because then you could get something called snake bites, where the rim and the tire, when you hit a rock, and then the wheel will puncture holes into the tire because when the impact. So you want to keep that right amount of pressure. But anyways, I bought this bike. It didn't look like this. I replaced everything, just about everything on it. I'm trying to see if I could. So
it's a sweet looking machine there.
Thank you. So I replaced the bars. I put the brakes on there. Obviously the grips. Because one of the first things you want to swap out is probably the tires when you get it. Because bikes nowadays are coming out with like better tires on them. But anyways, it's a hardtail. I love the bike. It's fun. I've done a lot of stuff that it's not, because it's considered a trail bike. But it's also in between a cross country bike. Really, what it boils down to is the geometry of the bike, of how it, like the angle of it. Cross country bikes are more for like going fast and like climbing, and the trail bikes are kind of like in between, where it's, so there's, and I'm probably gonna jack this up, but there's cross country, and this is just for like trail riding. Because I could go into hybrids, I can go into like single speeds and stuff like that. But for the purposes of this trail riding, there's mountain biking, there's trail bikes, there's all mountain, and then there's enduro, which is like kind of downhill. So it's enduro, and then there's downhill. Those are 5 of the different
classes of
riding.
Okay.
But now they're making bikes where they're kind of like, they call them like quiver killers, in a sense, where they can do everything. Of course, the more money you pay for a bike, the more of a quiver cutter it's going to be, and we can get into that later. But for the purpose of this is a considered a trail bike, or like it was like, boy, this is kind of a cross country bike when it sold it to me. Because when I went in, I was like, I want a bike where I could ride on the street, and then, which is kind of a stupid thing to say, because it's like all bikes can ride on the street and they could technically ride on the trail. But they knew what I was saying. I was like, I just want a bike that I could take off on the trail, and then I could still ride on the street if I want to. Because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just kind of went in like, I want a bike, and it was like a very broad question I was asking them, so they were going with what I told them. So I bought this bike, and I loved it. I've taken it off like big drops, huck to flats. That means it's just kind of going, because normally when you do like a drop or anything, you're supposed to go into it's ideal that you go into a transition, so when you're coming off, you can kind of hit the transition, it's not as rough. But when you're going to flat, you're coming off and then this like landing like hard, you know what I mean? So that's called like a huck to flat. So you're hucking it off a ledge and you're landing flat, and that's usually where some bad crashes happen. If you're not like used to being on the bike, that's where a lot of my crashes happen, because I didn't listen. And most of the guys that I ride with could tell you that, like, they're like, oh, maybe you shouldn't, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna try it. And then they're patching me up a little bit later, but that's how I learned, and I think that's how I progressed to the point that I have.
All right.
But
I would say I'm more of a experience and visual learner. You know, I will start off baby steps. And
yeah, definitely.
Jump off a cliff, probably the second time. You know.
But that's the thing too. One thing I love about this community is that nobody that I've ran into, to include my like nobody I've ran into has ever said you should do it. Come on, man, do it. They're like, hey man, if you're ready, do it. Or they'll say like, I don't think you should do it, and then they'll leave it up to you because you're a grown ass man or woman. You know what I mean? You can make the decision on your own whether you're gonna do it or not. And that's usually like where, you know, you just make the decision based on it for yourself. And if you can't do it, then don't do it. And I always tell people that I ride with for the first time, if you're not sure about something, get off and walk it. I don't know how many times I've got off and walked my bike, and I was just like, nope, you know. And then when I get there when I'm ready, you know. And it's different for everyone. Everyone has different things they have to work on. And there's a lot of things I could tell you and show you, and we could talk about them on this podcast where they've helped me, such as like track stands and stuff like that. Track stands. That's pretty much where you just stand over the bike and you try to balance it without pedaling. And that saved me from a lot of gnarly fucking crashes. Because I get to a spot like,
that's a different muscle group I got to work on right there.
Yeah, so one of the things I was thinking about doing was creating content in the sense of like through Instagram, because I started working out again. But through the course, and you remember in the desert or deployed together, we used to work out. I used to work out a lot, but I was kind of still trying to do like trying to go like for size and look, you know what I mean? Like I was still doing a lot of the dumb stuff of that, and from those things I've learned. So now I implement it. I started doing this in Boston, but suspension training, you know, where not suspension like in this sense, but like the nylon straps that hang down, and I literally like, so this week I have what's that?
The TRX and all that.
Yeah. But mine's like some knockoff fucking BX brand. It was like, it's called like Rip It or something. I don't know what it's called, but it's the same thing. You know what I mean? It can attach to a door, so it makes it real easy for anybody that doesn't have a gym. And I was thinking about making videos about that, like the first week, especially like older guys. Because a lot of people, like, as you know, like our ego will get the best of us. We're like, oh, I used to do this, or you throw on like 2 plates or whatever, and you try to do like a full workout with that, or 1 plate, and then the next day you're walking around like a fucking T-Rex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all I've been doing this week, just to kind of get my because you're talking about the different muscle group, and that's where I'm going with it. Is the body has stabilizer muscles, right? So, you know, the gymnasts, when they hold out, you see them like shaking and shit. You know, that's their stabilizer muscles trying to keep their body aligned with where they're at. So with suspension training, that's good for mountain biking, I feel, because you're constantly, you know, up on the bars, and you're like trying to stabilize yourself and the trail is always changing, so you're constantly using those fast twitch muscles to keep you stabilized. So I started doing that, and I literally just kind of like I hold them and I have them wrapped up to a bar, and I kind of just like hang out there, you know, until I can support myself, you know, consistently. And you can feel like I'm not even doing reps or anything. I'm just kind of hanging out, and that gets me sore to the point where the next day I feel a little bit, but it's not like sore to the point where I can't. You know what I mean? And it varies from every person, because some people have shoulder injuries, elbow injuries, hand injuries. Like my hands all jacked up. But that's one way of content that I was thinking about doing. It was just creating like small like videos, Instagram, just to kind of like if somebody comes across one, especially now like the gyms are closed, you can do stuff at the house, you know, to kind of keep that blood flowing, and then work on things that will keep you from getting injuries later on. Because if you all right over there?
I was looking for my my lifesaver, the foam roller. Like I work out in my house a lot too. So
there you go.
And I use the house beam, and I do pull-ups and stuff on it.
Dude, it's all about like you can be like Marky Mark from that one video where he has the center block and he's doing curls and shit. You remember that video? It was like when he was with the Funky Bunch. Yeah, dude. Yeah. And that's what it's about, dude. Just finding out what's around you and trying to like do some type of workout just to kind of keep because one thing I started working out again because I get acupuncture, right? And the doc was telling me, did you ever, you know how like the Berettas they used to like train us on before we deploy or whatever? They were talking about like the trigger takes 12 pounds of pressure to fire the first round, and then everything after that. Well, it takes 12 pounds. What's up?
Beretta. I never fired a Beretta.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what, when I got trained on them a few times, like that's what they would talk about. And I was like, when I got out of the military, I was like, that's the gun I want to get, because for the house, because in case somebody breaks in, you have to put a lot of pressure to fire that first round, and after that it's real easy. So that way you actually think about what you're going to fire at before you fire. But anyways, so that 12 pounds of pressure always stayed in my mind for whatever reason. And if I'm saying it wrong, somebody can correct me. But what the doc was telling me, that it only takes, I think he said 3 pounds of pressure or 6 pounds. But either way, it was substantially less to break your neck. So that stayed in my mind. And I was like, I need to start getting my muscles, because like I have neck problems right now from falls or whatever, not from mountain biking, but it's in the military, probably prior to that, football and shit. But when I heard that, I was like, I need to get my ass back in the gym. If I'm going to continue to do this, I at least want to build the muscles up around the ligaments, the joints and everything, so I don't have any like catastrophic injuries, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why
preventive maintenance. That would be that's what preventive maintenance. Not saying that it is going to happen, but if it does, you're going to be ready for it.
Right.
You know.
Right. Can you hear me okay? I just want to make sure I'm still coming across this mic okay.
Yeah. Are you perfect? It ain't no distortion. You're still good.
Okay. Yeah, and the video's been coming in real good, which is awesome. So, yeah. So, that's kind of like...
Are you going riding today? Are you going to go riding today?
I am. Actually, I think Lotus has kind of been looking at me like she's fucking ready to go. When she sees me come up to my laptop or computer, she gets all mopey and shit, goes like lays down with her freaking antler that we get her. But I definitely kind of go for a ride today. We're supposed to get rain today, but it's been like hit or miss. I think it sprinkled a little bit this morning, but it hasn't really rained, which is good because I want to keep getting out. One of the new things I saw, I know we're talking about mountain biking right now, but one of the new things that I saw was Specialized, which is one of the prominent mountain bike makers. They're starting to support the Dirt Therapy project with I may be speaking incorrectly, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that they're actually supporting the Dirt Therapy project with a new fleet of bikes, if the way I understand it. Because before they had Santa Cruz as a sponsor, I believe, but now they have Specialized, and so when I say a new, so they have a stable of bikes. So if veterans want to try it out and don't have the money to ride, or just want to be, they're curious about it, they have these like stable bikes. Like let's say you wanted to come down and like, hey man, can I ride with y'all? Be like, yeah, what size do you need? And then he'll grab an extra large frame or a large frame, bring it to where we're gonna ride, provides the helmet, the gloves, everything you need to ride, and to include the bike.
Cool.
Yeah, they take away that huge hurdle, which can be for some veterans that are on a fixed income, like most of us are. So that's a great program, and that's why I try to amplify like what they do through my platform, because I benefit from it so much, and I know other veterans do as well. And that's kind of why I talk about riding with other veterans, because trying to get them out. Like when I go to the VA and stuff, I talk to other veterans like, hey man, have you ever tried mountain biking? And I even offer my own bikes. Hey, what size are you? And I was like, you can borrow this. Most of the time I'll lend people this bike, and a lot of people worry they're gonna break it, but I'm like, if I haven't broken it by now, I doubt you're gonna break it, you know? So it's a good
True.
bike, and you know what I mean? It's a large frame, so it fits most people. Like I'm 5'10", almost 5'11", around there. I could be lying. But no, I'm like I'm around there, like 5'9", 5'10". It was I'm always used to inches. So was it 70 inches in the military? So whatever that equates to.
70. I was 69.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Really? That's a hell of a number right there.
79 something. Oh, we got to reconfigure over here.
Yeah. So going back to Specialized, they put out a memo to their riders, because right now it's prime season for mountain biking in a lot of places. They have the EWS, which is the Enduro World Series going on. They have all these.
They haven't canceled it yet?
They have. But on top of that, they put a notice to the riders stating, hey, if you're going to go on rides, so with the whole, what is it called, social separateness or whatever it's called, so they're pretty much saying social distancing. There you go, social distancing. So they're telling riders like, don't go in groups, try to minimize, keep that social distancing aware of. And I read some reports. I don't know how true they are, because the source was like Money Market or whatever. But one of the reports that they put out, and this was yesterday, and that's what's so kind of sketchy about even sharing this information, because as you know, with any type of epidemic or any type of not tragedy, but any type of national disaster or natural disaster, there's a bunch of information that comes out because people are trying to push the story out and trying to get clicks, if you will. But sometimes that information isn't always right. But one of the last things I saw is that the virus can stay in the air up to 3 hours. I don't know how true that is. So if you think about it in the context of riding, if you're riding with somebody, right, and they're right behind you, or vice versa, then they're breathing you're essentially breathing the same air because you're in the same line of path. If that is true. But for the most part, it sounds like it's affecting people. What I saw was it's affecting people that are, I'm just going to say how it is, that are obese, that are older, or have very low immune systems, in the sense of not very low immune systems, but immune systems that are weak, essentially like autoimmune disorders. And I want to say, I don't think it affects kids, and I just saw a recent report that says it doesn't affect dogs.
I was curious about that, if it affects animals at all, or
so
it's food, cows. Is it gonna get in the food now? Is it gonna get in the meat?
I don't know, and I can't speak to that. But what I do know is I recommend. There's a podcast that. So I listen a lot of Joe Rogan, right? And that's kind of.
Shouts out to Joe Rogan. Hello, what's up, Joe Rogan?
What's up, Joe Rogan? Hey, man, we're just.
Dog.
Yeah, man, holler back at us. I'm actually drinking Black Rifle coffee right now too, which is one of his people he's always gonna shout out to. It's really good. So shout out to Black Rifle coffee. I'm drinking I don't know, something with a devil on it. It's like Pitchfork or something, but it's really good. And one thing that's good about them, it's crazy if you didn't know about Black Rifle coffee, but they hire veterans, one, but they also hired and they brought in people from Afghanistan, the people that started with, and they actually work in their factories here and produce, like, help them make the coffee and shit like that, which is pretty badass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because for a lot of reasons. But anyways, there's a really good podcast from Joe Rogan. Let me see if I can find it real quick, since I'm gonna do this screen sharing thing again, just to kind of get the word out for people. And that's kind of where a lot of this information is coming from for me. Is I've listened to different podcasts with regards to coronavirus. Start sharing. All right, let me pull this up for those looking online right now. There you go. Hello. So.
Yeah. Número dos.
Are you gonna start riding today? Are you gonna go for a ride today?
Absolutely. It's raining, but I'm gonna layer up, and I know I think I'm gonna ride at the lake here, man. It's gonna be pretty challenging.
Yeah, dude. I mean, with a hybrid, you can still do some stuff. Like there's another sport, and I was talking about the different bikes I could talk about. But if you look up gravel biking, that's pretty much riding I don't want to say a hybrid bike, but that's pretty, because there's no fork. Like it's pretty much all rigid, like the way that you're riding, and that's actually people riding on trails. Here it is. Can you see this? So I'm not gonna play it for everybody, but so this. Let's see what the description is. So Joe Rogan Experience, episode 1439. He's talking to Michael Osterholm. I'm probably fucking that up. But he's an internationally recognized expert in infectious disease and epidemiology. He is Regents Professor McKnight to Presidential Endowed Chair of Public Health, the Director of the Center for Infectious Disease and Policy. Blah blah blah. So this dude's pretty much a badass, and he's what he's called a. I forgot what they said. He was pretty much like a private investigator, but for infectious disease. So if anything were to come out, they go back and they try to do like where it came from, where it originated, yada yada. But where this came from, the way I understood it, is it came from animals, but it came out of Wuhan, China, because of the way they have open air markets, but they have all kinds of animals in the open air markets. And so if you factor in the
swine flu,
Ebola,
all that stuff is just out there.
If you factor in all the different, so they have a bunch of animals in cages, right? And they're all on top of each other, right? Different animals and they're wild animals. So you factor in all these animals probably have their own bacterial diseases from wherever they came from. And then you throw them on top of each other in cages. They're like shitting on and pissing on each other. So that's just, I'll use their words, it's like a petri dish, but an uncontrolled petri dish. And
this has been on for
thousands of years. It has. But when you factor in the amount of animals, and then you factor in because I don't think a lot of people in America realize how overpopulated these cities are. Like Wuhan is 50 million people. That's just one like city, you know, and that's like one of the, I don't want to say it's one of the smallest cities, but that's a shit ton of people. How much is it in New York? Like 10 million maybe? It's like 10 or 15 million. It's
overly populated.
Yeah, it is, but compared to 50 million people, you know what I mean, that are living right on top of each other. And you've been to Korea and places like that, right? So if you look at like the buildings, they're like high up because they don't have the area of land to spread out. So they have to grow up. You know what I mean, to account for the amount of people. So they have these skyscrapers.
They have so many skyscrapers.
Yeah. So if you factor all of that in, then you factor in a disease, any disease for that matter, and they can multiply it and spread quickly based off of that. But anyways, so this was coming from animals. It did come from animals, but it was in the sense of like, I don't want to say wild animals, but it came from that, and then it transferred over to humans because it mutated.
I heard an interesting possible thought. Someone was eating bats and this is where this stemmed from. I thought that was
Yeah, I heard that as well.
Yeah.
It came from out of that open air market. Like
I think it came from the new phenomenon of everybody wanting to eat booty.
eat booty. Maybe.
Yeah, all that tossing of the salad just ain't right.
That's why they had to put lime on it, so that way it gets rid of the scurvy, that people don't get sick. That's what they call it, coronavirus.
The heebie-jeebies.
The heebie-jeebies. So, for our next, we'll probably end up closing it off here shortly, but for our next podcast, we were talking about possibly having a guest on. I was thinking about having a couple of guests on, whether we want to go with Jonathan from the Dirt Therapy Project, or we want to go with one of the bike mechanics that I know, and we can bring him in and kind of like set up some questions for him that way, and we can go from there. But
all right, in the next episode, hopefully I'll have that mountain bike, and you can see it, firsthand, and then by that time we have talked and I'll order the parts, and maybe while we're doing this I could be trying to fix the bike in the background or something.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we'll figure something out, definitely.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get it, send me those pictures so that way we can start looking, and then maybe we can have them ready for that next episode. Maybe you can deliver them to yourself.
That would be
fun.
Man, there's so many hats.
There you go.
Yeah. So once again, y'all be safe out there, man, through this different times we're going through.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
And just know that rain, sleet, or snow, I'm not always going to be able to deliver that stuff because I'm going to call in work. I'm telling you now.
Yeah, man. But definitely, yeah, you guys, be out there. Try to, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, as like everybody says. Keep your social distancing to, like, just try to, I wouldn't say like stay away from the trails, because I feel that, being in nature now is even more important than ever, because you get that fresh air, and that being inside all day will kind of make you go crazy in a different way. But just try to keep your social distancing, if you will, whether you think that's paranoid or not, because the way I understand it, and as new information has been coming across me, and I've been reading, it's not really, there you go, it's not really, wear your helmet so that way, you can't get corona in your head.
Always keep wearing protection if you wear protection, but if you never wore protection in other aspects of your life, hey, keep living your life.
Yeah, but just try to keep your distance and wash your hands. And it's not just, you could be the carrier of the disease, and this is kind of what stuck out to me. You could have it and not show any symptoms at all, and pass it on to somebody else without even realizing it. So that's kind of what stuck out to me, is where the need for social distancing is. Because even if you have it, you want to try to avoid people to protect your family, because if you have it, then if somebody else has it, and then you go around and they're not showing symptoms, and then you go home and then you have it, even though you're not showing symptoms, you just kind of spread it that way. So
not knowingly, so
yeah, so it's all about arming yourself with information. Like, try to keep a cool head. Don't let panic set in. Just do your own reading, your own information. Check out that podcast I was talking about. It's very lengthy in information, but it's very good information. And once you have the information, you don't fear things as much. At least that's been through the course of history of people just not knowing and panicking because they didn't get the right information. So don't expect everyone to spoon feed you the information. You got to look up for your family. We have the internet now. You have a smartphone. There's a reason why they call it a smartphone, so be smart about it and use Google. You can Google whatever you want. I just ask you to look at the sources and at least check out 2 sources, credible sources, and try to go from there.
Or any source, because we're going to be your source too. We don't know how credible we are yet. So, hey, we're going to source too, though. Yeah,
and it's going to be from a new perspective, and we're going to give it to you how we feel, and we can open it up to discussion. Nothing's really going to be, the majority of stuff's not going to be off limits here. We're going to talk about it, we're going to laugh about it, and we'll figure it out in the end. And we're just here to create discussion, and the medium is going to be mountain biking. So This is episode 1 of our podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Numero uno.
Numero uno. Hey, we can go bilingual too if we need to. So you guys out there that are listening, people around the world, we plan to get this out to you guys. We're not just trying to keep this local. Not loco like loco, but local in the sense of an immediate area. And we're going to have fun doing this. I hope you guys join in and let us know if you guys want any subjects that we want to cover in the sense of bike maintenance or in the sense of any type of conversation within the EWS, Enduro World Series, or any type of cross-country bikes or any type of mountain biking subjects. And if you guys would be interested, if some of you guys are experts in your field or whatever, it doesn't really matter what it is. We can have you guys on the podcast as well, and we can tie it back to mountain biking somehow. And we're all about trying to create discussion in a positive format and laugh about it and BS about it. And hope you guys enjoy it.
And chug about it.
Chug about it and crash about it. If you guys can look at my bike, you would see all kinds of scratches in it. But hey, even the Mona Lisa's falling apart. You know, look at this.
Yeah.
33 stitches.
So find us on our social medias. Facebook for me is John Coltrane. Too easy. It's just pictures. And Instagram is Magnum Almendra, and we'll have it showing possibly somewhere later. So you guys want to find it? How can they find you on social media?
So on social media, I have on Facebook. I have a Facebook page, or like a page, like a business page. I created. It doesn't matter how I created it. It got created, but it's called CrashFitty, CrashFitty MTB. And on Instagram, I'm just CrashFitty, so in the same sense. And you can see my logo, which is, look at that, I got it on my phone. With this guy on here. Bam, right there. So I got to order more decals, so if you guys are interested in getting some of those decals, let me know. I got to put another order in. I was thinking about going in with a different color scheme other than this one. But you can find me there, so Instagram, Facebook, and I think that's it. I don't know if I'm on any on Instagram. So I thought about doing TikTok, but I don't know. It seems to.
I feel like you can dance. I mean, but and your YouTube channel as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm also on YouTube. CrashFitty, same thing, same logo. I'm going to be pushing out different content. I'm working on a DVO, a rear shock, kind of new, like taking it apart perspective. I'm working on that right now. I'm also working on a video when I went to Florida. I explored some of those mountain biking trails out there in Northwest Florida. So be on the lookout for that. That one's taking a little bit longer because I rode 2 days. So I'm going through like maybe 6 hours of content and trying to break it down so it's a bite size for you guys to enjoy it. And it's not like fucking 3 hours of, because you got other shit to do. You can't be just watching videos all day. So and I'm an amateur videographer.
You ain't got nothing, and you can watch them all day.
Or you got shit else to do because you're stuck inside. And we can do that too. We bring these podcasts to you. We're gonna have fun. It's gonna be a good time. And I hope you guys enjoy this. Look out for episode 2 coming out. We're gonna try to probably put another one out one a week as for now. We could talk more about that. And hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys take care. And you got anything else for the...
Be safe out there. Y'all be safe out there. Wash your hands.
Be safe.
Or self-medicate.
Yeah, self-medicate. And also, stop buying fucking toilet paper. It's not a survival.
Just take a shower. Take a shit in the shower.
Toilet paper is not... You don't need that for survival. Fucking use leaves or something. But anyways...
I'm going to have that ready next episode. Because I also do poetry, and it's just going to be called Shit and Shower. That's going to be the next title of my next piece.
Yeah, man, and we could also use this to integrate other things that we work on as well. Like I do music and other stuff. But anyways, for this podcast, you guys have a good one. You guys be safe. Thanks for listening. We're going to have more coming your way, and we'll talk later. All right, guys, stay tuned. We're out.
Deuces.
Hold on, I'm just trying to stop it.
Yeah.